What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are staying alive in this market. Uh, yeah, crazy. But we got Al in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy. Good morning to Anna and Andrew, Andy, Barney. Good morning to Bill, Brad, Cheryl, GW, Jeff, Keith. Kevin is in the house. Good morning to Leandro, Lucian, Marius, Mike, Peter, Ray, Rob, Shane, Tim, Wendy. The squadron is here. They're piling in. All my people out of YouTube land. Clarice, first one in the YouTube chat. So you're gonna get the medal today. Good job for you. Good morning to Brian saying the sky is falling. Yeah, we'll get to that. We got MS Sky. Good morning to you. Good morning to Mustafa. Shar, Sharisha? Did I say that right? Sharish? Good morning to you. I'm sure I butchered. Jeff, we got Richard Jet in the house. Good morning to you as well. All my lurkers in the background, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But so I'm gonna start with the 1 minute chart, just based on that sky is falling comment. Uh-huh. So here's yesterday. This is this would clarify as a little bit of panic, sky falling makes sense. Let's go a little bit further in the timeline. For yesterday, we've got okay, it's not as bad, but still a little bit of selling in the market. Then let's go to a 5 minute. Okay, there's a little less candles. Let's start pushing to the hourly chart. Hourly chart, you got two candles, so 2 hours of dramatic selling after just a little 4 hour dip. Let's go back to the daily chart. Daily chart's got a few days. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of selling after we just hit all time high, push to the weekly. We are just back into this little chop zone. Haven't really broken down this candle, which would be uh, January 13th. So we might get a little more selling, but we're just still right around a 20-day EMA, just closing right below it. Still got that 50 EMA slowly creeping up. That's somewhere around 561. And then let's flip to a monthly chart, and we're just inside last month's candle. So all perspective, all perspective. We're really still just in chop. Uh, although there's a wide range. So you got all-time highs that we hit this week, or was it this week or last week? 613.25, and then we had a good strong close on the monthly candle yesterday without any wicks and just fear panic selling. But today's a new day. This candle's still open, still inside this again candle from yesterday or from last month, and then look for 589.33. If we could squeeze above it, then we're also still at or above the opening price of last month's candle. So I get it. It feels big. It doesn't look like it's a healthy healthy little you got a good breakout of a downtrend, kind of came down lower. So all that being said, really we haven't done much. Like we're still in this zone, but I know it feels a lot worse, especially depending on the sectors that you're in. This is the SPY too, so there's a lot of individual names where the individual chart is much different. So let's just take a breath. Take a breath. Market makers messing with retail traders. I don't know. I don't know if that would be the case. We're still a very bloated market, right? We're still up a lot, and we're really waiting for some of these moving averages to kind of just continue to catch up on a lot of these things. But SPY is actually managing to hold up better than a lot of individual names, and I think that's where people are seeing in their accounts going like, uh-oh. But we're what, 15, $30 off of all-time highs of 613. So I don't know if we're there yet. I think we're still relatively in chop fest, but that was a little bit of a sign for the breakdown. But we'll see how today recovers. We have a little bit of a gap up. Not really too impressed with the gap up yet. I don't think it's time to buy dips. I don't think we're really cheap in the market quite yet. But I'm looking for 587.13 as some kind of resistance for today. If we could get above it, I think your next stop mini target 588.40. What was that? 588.44. And then maybe you're into this 592.96. So we could have a decent recovery. We have to do a little bit of work early on to get there though. And then we got to get a close back above the 100. If we cannot do any of that, we closed at almost an okay location yesterday, not quite hitting it, But to the downside, I got 584.42. The next spot, which I think is a little bit better of a support, is 582.12. And then we really have to see how we start to close around 580.22. So not there, not there yet. And Lucy's like, yeah, typical day if the market makers are just messing with retails. But I mean, I'm already getting text messages from people like, oh, should I sell everything? What should I do? Oh my goodness. And I'm like, just I don't know. Just chill out. If there's something that you've been looking, I think right now, maybe not the time again to buy the dip, but I think it's time to do some homework. Time to find some of those stocks that are just kind of being oversold that everybody legitimately a week ago, week and a half ago couldn't buy enough of, and now that the market has a few red days and a pretty dramatic selling day yesterday, everyone's just absolutely like, I got to get rid of everything. Uh, I mean, maybe depends on how you got in. If you got in for a trade, there should be a stop, and if you get stopped, who cares? You lose a little bit, and then if you have that dramatic sell-off, you're well positioned. You got cash on the side. If you're in for the long term, you're not really like this. If you have a long term account, especially if you're just putting it together and just building it, this is still high. This is this is still really high. I'd rather those bigger pullbacks. You get much bigger deals, and then at that point you'll have a really solid. You'll just absolutely make a ton of money. So there's going to be some opportunities in this market, but I don't think we're really there yet where we should be panicking. Not quite yet. We are Qs. We got one, two, three, four, five, six. 6 days in a row of selling. Yesterday, obviously a little bit of a breakdown, not a great closing price. So closing came in at 502.99. We are below that. We're still looking to open below that. Slightly small gap up, but essentially at the lows of yesterday. If we get a retest of yesterday's VPOC, that would take us all the way to 510.95. There's a few levels of resistance first. Again, let's see if we get above 502.99. Otherwise, next spot down on the Qs, 496.16, and then you got all the way into probably somewhere around this 487.44. That would take us slightly below the 200, so 200 maybe a little bit of support. We'll see. And again, all of this, the last time we had, look at this move. We went from 504.12 all the way down to 424.11. That's a much bigger move than we've just put in already. And then we got to bounce off that 200. We can just carry it on out. So who knows what's going to happen? Yeah, I think there will probably be some time for some buying, but let's see if the market can get a little stable first and not just jump into things. But I don't think we're in any spot quite yet where really fear panic should just drive all your emotions when taking trades. But again, it's all perspective. We're as day traders, we're just so focused on a 3 minute chart, a 5 minute chart, a 15-minute chart that we're just kind of saying like, man, this is looking ugly. Somebody that just has a 9 to 5 job doesn't know anything about the market. They're like, yeah, cool. Next month I buy again. That's just what I do, right? So let's take it. Let's take a little breath. It's all right. We'll survive it. We'll get through it. Bitcoin is trying to throw a hammer-ish in today, but did get a little bit ugly. Got down to 78 154. I've got possible targets, which we did not get to, about 76, somewhere in the 570 range. But right now we are slightly above this one, 79 881, and today's VPOC is currently above that. So we'll see where Bitcoin kind of drops down to. Just for reference too, Michael Saylor's average is about 67,000. So like if you're like, hey, I think this is getting cheap on Bitcoin, then I'm like, well, Michael Saylor got it for cheaper than I got. So uh, you know, maybe look for Michael Saylor's numbers. See if we get into 67, and at least you're kind of on pace with him. We're trying to find some some I guess flagpole to mount it to the ground on Bitcoin of where you should get in if you are a Michael Saylor fan. Apple, still a little bit high. Take some of these off. Well, yeah, still a little bit high on Apple. We haven't really, again, I guess 3 days of dipping, but we did have a gap and go on this one. Still looks a little bit weak, but you're opening with a retest gap today and 236.35. What I'm looking for on the markets, actually, let's go back real quick. This is the only thing we have not seen yet. Every time we've had some kind of like, is this it? Is this the one? We've seen like a capitulation day, right? So here's a smaller gap down, and then you kind of just rallied and carry it home, right? Oops, I got off the wrong screen here. Let's see, the next capitulation day. Yeah, it's some kind of a breakdown here. You still held on the Qs into that 50 EMA. You had a little bit of a capitulation day on this one. Everyone was just kind of selling. This one, fantastic. So here's a good downtrend, and then you have that big move, stops everybody out. Any last remaining stops, last fear panic comes into the market, kind of rallied from there. So we haven't really seen any of that yet, but I think we almost kind of need to. Like if we I don't I think the fear indicator is pretty high, but if we get that one last move, everyone's going to freak out, and then we'll find some kind of capitulation. That's usually your sign that you could probably start to go long on the markets again. But we'll see. We got Google. Google, we've got still looking a tad weak. You got yesterday's VPOC sitting all the way at 171.24. So you have a little bit of level of support that we're just kind of chilling at. I think it looks weak, but you probably have a decent opportunity to go long, counter trend trade it. You got a few days of selling already. PCE came out today. It was just in line, so the markets didn't really react too much to that. So not a saving grace there. But I think you have targets to like 170, 136. Just getting back to that VPOC. If you're looking to go short, it is below that 200. And the closer you get to 171.26, 171.22, I think that'd be your better spot to go short as opposed to trying to hop in short immediately after one, two, three, four, five, relatively 6 days of selling. So we will see, but I think probably I don't know if I'd want to go short yet. I need to see a little bit more. And if it doesn't break yesterday's lows, then you do actually have a good opportunity for going higher or at least a sympathy bounce. You got Palantir, so you got one. Technically, it's green, but it's down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of selling after like again, even at this move, like you went from 125, I think 125 to the penny, I think it got to a little over. And you got down to today's open, which we're gapping down to $80.90. That's a big move in a very, very short time frame. I think the short time frame is what's really panicking people. But if you're looking at Palantir, if you go back a few months, I mean, you were at $26. You go back a little bit more. I was buying this thing at like $7, $8. So it's had a big move, which when you have those, you probably get a big sell-off. Typically, that's how that would work. All those people buying nonstop probably wants to take profits, and there's a lot of them. Otherwise, you closed at a decent support yesterday, and the next support down would have been 81.93. It is a retest gap for today, but you're opening underneath that support. Next little support, see if we hit 79.17, and then the next decent one probably takes us to like 74.56. In terms of volume, though, I think on the side, I gotta turn it back on. Hold on. Hold on. So I'll go. I think I had like 65 is kind of the next spot. Yeah, so we're kind of pulling into that volume zone today. Right, we're finally starting to get a little support with this gap down. I think probably about the 75.50 and then all the way down to like 70.90. If we start losing that, you probably got 61, $62 on the horizon, then maybe back to like 43 and 36. So it could have a decent move if realistically all the bullishness is out of this market and the market actually does have some kind of crazy move. But Palantir, we are opening into a little support. This is a retest gap. We've had a little bit of selling. Again, maybe a high wave candle, something like that, and maybe try to play that retest. To the retest side of things, I'd probably be looking for 80. $5, 84.99 with the potential if you get past it, maybe we get back into yesterday's VPOC 89.27. So a little bit of room on that one. Let's see. FSLR. Yep, they've been getting collapse. Small little gap up. Not a great looking closing candle yesterday. You now have all that support above you. Let's go to a weekly. I don't know if I got bars on the side. I do. Yeah. Below the 200. I think you have a decent short opportunity, a little longer term on this one. Into at least 98.35 with potential of getting back to like 67.97 on First Solar. So it looks kind of weak. Um, the weekly charts. Again, a gap up today by a couple of cents. I don't know. I don't know if that makes you feel any kind of way, but let's see support. I think you're probably going to want to start crushing through this 139.46, and then for a day trade basis, at least you got 133.83. Otherwise, I think with all that volume above you, if you get any kind of bounces, it might be interesting to look at some puts with some time on it, which could start as soon as 143, about 143. If you get through that, then there's probably a little room higher, 149.93. But that would look after that candle came in, probably somewhere around that 143 to buy some puts, and then see if it wants to have a little flushy flush. Let's get that higher on the list. Again, even to the downside, you're starting to get a little far extended from some of those moving averages, at least short term. Let's go to Tesla first. The Tessie. The Tessie gapping down, so the rest of the market trying to gap up a little bit. This one's sitting at 280.47 at the moment. I think this one probably continues down short. I think with yesterday's close, again, psychologically, I think you have 276.05. That would just take you to the low end of that candle. I think that breaks. So I would be looking for, uh, well, I don't think I'd be looking for this, but you had that 288.31. That should have been a good support. We almost got down there yesterday. Actually, we did get down there 2 days ago. And then yesterday with that close above it, if you get a retest, which it is a retest gap, look for like 285.70 for some kind of short and just continue that momentum to the downside. Otherwise, you probably don't have a great risk to reward at open to go short. So you kind of want to see that bounce first. Other than that, I think you have next stop really about 268.30. That would close in this gap. This was closing the pivot. And then your actual gap fill is all the way down to 252.49. So we'll see if that could get a little bit further down. But I don't see any real bouncing in Tessie quite yet. I think it would be sell the rips if it comes in. When he says, I think your mic is cutting up. Is my mic cutting up for anybody else? No, no, just maybe maybe you got some speaker issue. I don't know. Everyone else saying it's okay. Although I have been talking cut up, so it's about monster. I would like to, and then but the main thing just no, and so maybe that's it. I don't know. MSTR, you have still looking weak. Again, retest gap. See if you get a little tiny recovery bounce. That should be 242.95 would be resistance. I think you have a little bit more room to the downside on this one. You got 233.79 with the potential of 226.72. For today, if anything gets crazy, the next spot down after that would be about 215.49. So we'll see. Yeah, who said Boeing? Somewhere, David Cooks speaks said Boeing. I had a dream about Boeing. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm psychotic, I think. I have to talk to my therapist about this. And then it was like the last dream. Like I don't remember dreams ever. I don't know why. But it was like the last one right before you wake up. So I had a dream like that Boeing was at 160 and it gapped down to $10 like to the point where you just wake up and you're like, man, it's kind of like, is that real? And then I had to check and I was like, no, it's not even at 160. So I don't know what. But yeah, I was like, man, should I buy that dip? I think I should. It's $10. But now back to reality, I guess. It's not there yet. Um, Interesting open actually for this one. Get a little pullback. Let's see if we did get a bounce off that 200, so that's not bad. First day up in terms of the VPOC, you're gonna have that 50. We got through that yesterday. I think targets on this one, immediate target will be about 175.09. I think you could probably break through that. The next one's 175.61. We actually played with that one yesterday too. The next one after that is 176.79. We got through that. So I think targets potentially could get us to 177.89, which would be a decent move. It's going to have some resistance all the way up. But I kind of like that opening location. So high wave candle today might be a Boeing trade. Maybe that was a sign. My goodness, that might have been a sign to buy Boeing. Huh. It's crazy. As long as you have coffee, you can talk forever. Yeah, maybe that's the key, is the coffee, I think. I don't know. We got Coinbase, just like MSTR, looking a little weak, which also kind of mimics the sentiment into crypto space right now. Hanging in there from Tuesday's candle. So not bad. Not bad. But I think if you do get a balance, you're looking for essentially probably 209.81 as some kind of resistance. You have a lot of room on this one to the downside. So again, I would love to see a bounce first. I don't know if the market's going to be nice to me today and give me what I want, but we got 195.49. That's a decent amount of room to the downside. I like that short as well. I like it a lot. But we'll see what kind of candles we get at it open on that one. I would again get yeah. Lydia says if it dips to $10, I'm definitely buying it with you. She says that now. Yeah. And it's not just her. Everybody would be like, yeah, if Boeing gets to $10 or some stock goes from 100 to $1, that's where I will definitely buy it. And then I guarantee you it gets to $10 or wherever, whatever stock goes crazy low. And then everyone's like, I don't know, maybe it's not maybe I shouldn't buy that. I'm not sure. And then nobody buys it because everyone, then you turn on CBC and they're confirming because they're all biased. They're confirming the thought that this thing is just going to $5. And you're like, do I want to lose 50% on my trade? I don't know. And then it's at like $300 again. Everyone's like, yeah, sign me up. I want to buy it now. RVBR looks like a penny stock. If this is the correct one that you put out there, real virtual, unless this is some kind of crypto. I know you in the crypto space. But for this one, Mark Ray, I have no idea. Um, I would probably take whatever amount of money I'd like to invest in it and then just flush it into the toilet is probably how I would, is probably my investment on, yeah, I don't know. Penny stock, good luck. I would rather just go out and buy like Google or Apple, even at the highs, because most likely this one probably ends up dying. But there's a chance maybe it gets that rally. But yeah, I don't know. Penny stocks, buy baskets if you're going to go that route. And let me know if that is the correct ticker that you wanted or if there was another one. 220A, Faber Company. Uh, Let me see. I've got nothing really crazy with this one. Just a lot of consolidation. You really have to continue this rally. You really want to start getting above 1,066. That should be your confirmation. That would take you up to previous decent resistance 1,077, but that would at least put you in a track of breaking outside of that consolidation with the backbone of that nice bullish move. Otherwise, kind of just chilling to the downside. You don't really want this thing past 1,049, but it's just hanging out for now. Just chilling. HLF. Let's see Google on there as well. HLF Herbalife is wasn't this like a pyramid scheme before? I think weren't they trying to short this thing like crazy? They're coming out. This one kind of looks weak. Again, retest gap technically from yesterday. Maybe get a bounce. I don't think we even get that bounce. Maybe we do, but into 825. That would be a good resistance, but maybe you fall short just into that 200. You do have some room down on this one to 780. Obviously, a nice breakout, so this pullback would make sense. If you're trying to play this one long from that breakout, I don't think I would really be touching this one until 780. See if I can get in there for a long opportunity. Stops, I think, would have to be 677. But otherwise, nice little breakout on this one. Previously, we're just chilling, and I think a pullback would be a little necessary, especially into that resistance. So keep your eye on 780 if you're trying to go long on that one. Let's see. We talked about Google, so let's go to Google. I see that request in there too. Google looks. Did we cover this one? I'm not sure, but yeah, looks a little weak so far, and I think you got a little bit more room. We did cover this one. Yep. Yeah, the bounce spot again. If you can get back up to like a 171.14, that'd be amazing. Otherwise, a little bit of room to the downside. Intel. I don't think they have a CEO yet still. Yeah, they had Pat, the Intel CEO. He just up and left, and they could not find anybody. There's no good qualified candidates. I'm gonna throw my resume out there. I'll be a CEO of Intel. They pay pretty well. Still looks low. I'm not loving this one for a quick bounce today. I think probably you get held up somewhere around 23.17. If you could break that one, you could have a little resistance. I don't think it's too key, but 23.30, and then the next spot 23.65 to the high side for today. Starting to come down to some of those moving averages. So again, we did get one bounce off that 20 once. Maybe it could happen again, but it kind of looks weak here. I think to the short side is a better bet, maybe down to like 22.52. And then ultimately, I think this one probably 23.23 with a potential of 20 not 21.96. So somewhere in that zone. If you're looking to play long, I'd probably look for, but as soon as news comes out or they get a CEO, you probably see a pop on it. Other than that, you guys are incredible in YouTube land. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But end of February, we'll see if we could rally at all. It doesn't really look like today might be the day, and we'll see how we end up to start March. But you